Good evening, my name's Alex Campbell.
And my name's Henry Winkler.
And you're watching Dissecting Gate. Discussing Gate. You're watching something.
Something about Stargate.
The reason I picked this episode is because whenever I think of SG-1, I know I'm going to think of this episode.
Really?
Yeah, my first watch through, I don't know, I just fucking love this episode. Such a great concept, and the execution is great, and it always stuck in my mind. Oh, that black hole episode. It's fucking amazing.
It is cool. They crammed, it's one of these episodes where they cram a lot in. They're able to do, there's lots of really interesting things. Both lots of good handling of subplot. They've got character development while this crazy stuff's going on.
Yeah, there is a bit of that.
Clever use of, the SG-1 base, like they do. They're
Absolutely.
Yeah, another example of them being able to utilise that whole set.
Yeah,
and get a whole story out of it.
Yeah, so the basic concept is that they open up a gate to a world where a black hole has just started sucking through, and the gravity for the black hole starts coming through the Stargate.
Did you hear that?
The SG-10 is over there. It's like their first mission. There's this great image of the guy who was friends with Jack. It's just like horror on his face as like he sees the black hole but he can't do anything.
Well, it's funny because so they established that the telemetry, the image coming through the mouth is, obviously playing at whatever lower speed.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing like freeze frames of the team on the planet.
Yeah.
And they're like running away and they're in horror, and then it would render a frame like slowly, and it was
But it was like,
but so they're talking about it and looking at them, and it's like pan up and you see the black hole, and they're looking and they're running away from it, and that's cool. And then they turn around, they're talking about basically, how horrifying it must be, and like Jack's like, well, look at his face, and it goes from like a freeze frame of them running from the thing to a freeze frame of and fuck it, and there's no continuity between it because they actually go back to the running away shot, but it's a great fucking scene.
There's like a music cue and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think he's thinking? He's like, ah!
They've had it, sir.
You know that for a fact, Colonel.
No, sir, I don't. But have a look at Major Boyd's face. What does that say to you?
Look at his face.
So they're doomed. They're moving so slow that they're never going to be able to get through the wormhole. They're just going to die there, and there's nothing they can do about it, which is a really great moment.
Yeah, it is. It's a really brutal moment, and it sets the tone for the whole episode.
Yeah, there's a nice ramping up of tension the whole time as stuff slowly escalates to the point where they see the smoke getting sucked through the wormhole, and Carter goes up with the dog tags. There's another big ramping up of tension. It's like, oh, okay, this is gonna suck shit in now.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
They're just great little moments that get reincorporated and used to escalate. Visual cues. And they're clever. And they're clever done, trickery or whatever.
Yeah, they got really good lighting the whole time because the base basically goes into panic mode. You're red lights spinning around and everything's dampened and alarms are going off in the background. People are freaking out.
Well, they have a really great shot where they're in the control room rushing, and Carter's jumping down to the computer and the gate's spazzing out. Yeah. And they're just flashing the blue lights, but it's really dramatic and it's cool.
It's atmospheric, but it makes sense for the narrative because they're in a military base that's in this panic mode.
Colonel, are you alright?
Medical emergency in the gate room.
Colonel, are you alright?
Again, the room is not that big. It's from the back of the gate room to the back of the control room, it's like a small apartment room.
Yeah,
but they're able to convey a lot of momentum and a lot of momentum.
Yeah, well, it's that they utilize that set perfectly. They don't really go to any new sets, and the gate room, it becomes flipped vertically if we can just skip to the third act, which is great. We see it utilized how we never see it utilized before. We got Jack and Cromwell lowering themselves down, and yeah, at that point the gravity's pulling them, so they're going down the opposite way.
Set! Going!
Well, yeah. So it's actually similar to a trick, the same trick that they used in I think it's season 5, where Jack's captured by Baal and he's in the prison and it keeps the gravity, and they just it's just a room.
It's just like a hallway, but then they flip the gravity so he's in a hole. Yeah.
But instead of I guess they had 2 rooms for that. Instead of that, they just I guess they get the cables that they lure them down. They tie them really tight to one end, and then. Yeah, film like that.
And then flip the shot, which is really creative and interesting, especially if you don't have money for a new set for that episode.
Well, there's no reason to, right? The camera trickery is perfectly satisfactory.
Absolutely. And we get Cromwell in this episode. We made a joke about O'Neill knowing everybody in the American military and having a backstory with them about some tragic events that went horribly wrong.
He's done operations with 1/3 of the military. From the Navy to the Air Force to Special Forces, and it's all gone horribly wrong. And it's fine. But then and spoilers, I guess. They go through, and Cromwell, who basically left Jack to rot in a prison or something, which is part of the sub story.
Yeah, Jack's angry. He hasn't forgiven him. You left me. No man gets left behind.
Well, I guess he gets his redemption because he gets sucked into the fucking wormhole. We never hear about him again. I don't know. It's funny actually now that I think about it. There's no even reflection moment for Jack. It's like he gets sucked into the fucking thing, and the explosion goes off and they rescue Jack and whatever, and it fades, and then it's like, oh, happy, you survived. Daniel's here, and it's like, oh, it's been 2 weeks.
The idea would be that Jack now understands that there are circumstances in which people do get left behind, and that Cromwell made a mistake and he now forgives him.
We don't see that.
There's no analysis of that. It's just the thread is left.
I don't even think that lesson carries on through the rest of the series.
Well, Jack doesn't mention it.
No, he always goes, nobody left behind, through the rest of the thing. Anyway.
People that get left behind.
Yeah, all the people that surround him that happen to fucking die horribly.
Yeah.
What happened and nobody gets left behind? Well, what about him? That is a totally different scenario. That is the same damn thing, Jack.
There's a great moment early on too when they first open the gate, where it really highlights the pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses of the team. Because Jack's obviously a great military leader, strategist and all that, but he immediately just wants to rush in and save SG-10, which would have led to all of their deaths. SG-1 we got horribly ripped apart by gravity waves.
Well, so they see the footage through the map of them frozen in time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're gonna go through and get them, which I guess is obviously the theme. Around Jack and nobody left behind. Yeah. And you just imagine them it's like, okay, we're ready to go, and they step through the gate and they're just frozen in time, immediately when they materialise.
Now they're helpless.
And it's that's the end of the series finale. Yeah.
Well, Jack says, well, we have as much information as we need. They obviously need help. Let's rush in there. And Carter's like, oh, no, actually, let's pan up. This seems odd.
Well, you can do that because you can have, though, that a character do that emotional, headstrong reaction, because the structure of the military then says, well, no, you don't just get to do that, and that doesn't fuck all the characters over because someone acted like a retard.
Yeah, well, we talked about the team dynamic before and how with SG-1 it really functions. You got Tilk the tank, you got Daniel as kind of the moralness and the archaeologist, Carter who's a super intelligent scientist, and then Jack who's the leader and the strategist and the military guy. And you got Farscape where it's like it's like Wolf 2.0 is the tank.
Discount Wolf.
Yeah, you got John who's the fish out of water. You got Farting Yoda who's the farting Yoda.
Who's the fish out of water, and you got
Lala who's the.
And then in the later seasons, you got some like caked makeup chick who's a fish out of water. You got,
they're all fish out of water. A tank and 4 fish out of waters.
Oh, that's funny.
Team dynamics.
I must say probably one of the negatives of the episode for me is, and you always have the shtick with Carter saying something,
Yeah,
and then it's like, well, according to the rules of theoretical physics or whatever, special relativity and blah blah blah, and it's like, Carter. And she's like, we're in trouble, so, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But then it just keeps going and going and going. They say every single character has a moment with Carter where they're like,
Yeah, there has to be 4 or 5 times where they explain relativity, which is like really basic. It's like, time is moving slower, closer to the event horizon of the black hole.
yeah, stronger gravity fields like dilate, change time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, okay, we get it. And they go out, and she's like, time's moving slower, relatively.
Carter!
We get it! Yeah!
You have to remember that time is relative. As far as SG-1 is concerned, only a few seconds have passed. They're still trying to save themselves.
But we'll have to.
Well, sir, time dilation is a result of the intense gravity, which is directly proportional to their proximity to
Captain.
We get it!
We now know that the SBC is experiencing what is called time dilation. Time is quite literally passing slower within the facility than it is outside.
Well, that would explain the communication problem.
Yes, sir. We also know that there are only 2 things according to relativity that causes effect. Velocity near the speed of light or extreme gravity.
The point is, sir, time is passing more slowly down here than it is outside the mountain.
Time's time.
No, sir, not according to relativity. Now, with the intense gravity field of something like a black hole, time actually slows down.
We get it!
Well, am I right? Now we've gone 20 minutes.
Well, sir, time for time spent coming and going. I would guess time within the SGC facility is slowed to an average of about 600% below normal. When you ordered Colonel O'Neill to wait 5 minutes, they were really telling him to wait 6 hours, maybe more.
Captain Relativity gives me a head.
We're experiencing a time dilation in a radius wider than the gateway itself. Most of the SGC, in fact, and it's expanding. But it's all happening in advance of the gravity field it's causing. Now, according to everything I thought I knew about relativity, that is just not possible.
We get it! Audiences went dumb in the 90s. I mean, you have to, I think, just assume the audience is smart and move on.
I actually think the having Carter explain it to Teal'c and O'Neill and Hammond are in the same room, and then having Major Sam re-explain it to Hammond would have been sufficient. Especially, I actually find that the explanation from Major Sam to be the most
cohesive.
Well, the most realistic. You know, and I really actually I think it's a nice touch to show that, while on the outside, they're not fucking stupid.
Yeah.
They had 24 hours or whatever to think about it. It's like, oh shit, we fucking realised really, really quickly what's going on.
Yeah.
In
saying that though, once again, the US military's solution to this problem is to blow it up.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, they opened a wormhole to a black hole. We should blow it up.
When is the self-destruct actually come into play and solve the issue?
Never.
Because it's always getting set.
It's always getting set. 1 second to blow it up.
I think
they never blow it up.
They do in the alternate dimensions.
They do, which is really cool.
Cut the where they do the white flash or whatever, the characters and then
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's a nice, I guess, developing of the mythology too, and just running with pre-established laws. Because Brad Wright wrote this episode, and they talk about an episode where the gate gets transferred and they end up in Antarctica. So they're referencing an old episode, and that's how they end up solving the problem. They focus power into the wormhole and it transfers to another wormhole on another planet. So just that little touch is we're keeping aware of what we've set up, the pre-established laws and how this world functions.
Yeah, the rules of the universe, and that's exactly what I thought too, is just a great reincorporation.
Yeah.
And it's actually hilarious that you can just write an entire episode where the solution has already been used before. Yeah. So you don't need to bend over backwards to try and find some solution to this problem.
Yeah.
And you just create a problem that has a solution already.
Yeah, it's like strengthening the world and how it works. It's like fucking Matt Smith era Doctor Who, you know, it's like, here's the rules of how the world functions. We're gonna break them and rewrite it every episode.
It's gonna be different, and it's gonna be, you know, where this is game change. It's like,
but this is how much we can interfere with the past. Now we do whatever we want. It's like, there's no world then. I can't follow it.
Well, there's no familiarity.
rules.
Where's the familiarity? You know? What season are we at now with the Stargate?
This is like towards the end of season 2.
Season 2, you know, you've watched a bunch of episodes,
50 episodes,
and you're starting to get pretty familiar with what's going on.
This is the rules. This is how it functions.
Like after season 2 and probably halfway through season 3, we're getting, maybe towards the end of season 4, we're getting out of the point where you need to explain things anymore and establish the rules. The rules get established.
Yeah, we know how the world functions. Now let's have a new adventure.
Yeah.
When Colonel O'Neill and I were sent to the Antarctic Gate, it was because we were under enemy fire.
It caused an energy surge.
Yes, and that surge caused the wormhole to jump from one destination to another.
We also had the running gag of Scylla being injured in this episode. Got horrible electricity burns.
Well, it's actually, that's one of the small little great things about the whole show.
Yeah.
Scylla, what is he? Is the stunt coordinator or is the special effects
Yeah, something
guy?
like that.
Yeah. And he's the victim of all the explosions and electrical things and all the things that go wrong.
They become self-aware later on, and they become more silly.
It does become silly.
I seem to remember him getting hit in the head by a giant wrench. Or when they become super strong, like O'Neill goes to pat him on the shoulder and pushes him down the stairs.
That's actually a great. That is a fucking, and that's a great episode.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
We ragged out on Farscape a whole lot the first episode for using stock footage. And they used stock footage of Air Force One, which completely makes sense from a budgetary reason. Like they can't go out and film Air Force One. The amount of money it would cost them to do that, and then just dredge up a bit of stock footage. But now that I'm aware of it, is every time, and they do it in Classic Who a lot, because obviously they had a fucking tiny budget. Every time you had to use stock footage of something, it pulls me out.
Well, it's clearly different. It's funny, what it reminded me of was NCIS, because I see it in passing on the TV.
Yeah.
And it's funny that they'll use stock footage of like an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And it's just completely different.
Yeah, so the film grain is different, the resolution is different, it's filmed with a different camera with a different lens.
It's like you got a HD show and it's on Blu-ray or something, and then it's like a 240p.
Really shitty old footage, like black and white.
They'll be conferencing you with the president aboard the aircraft, sir.
Thank you, Major.
Good luck, sir.
So yeah, in conclusion, really cool concept. I like the sci-fi premise and how it was executed, especially in the third act with that great sequence of them lowering down into the wormhole. The tension and ramping up and the pacing was all great. Nice character moments. As always, Stargate SG-1, quality.
Living up to the juggling subplots and character development and reincorporation of previous episodes of handling continuity and blah 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 blah. It's just great example of, you know, basic filmmaking techniques and then some clever ones later on top.
Yeah, good script, good characters, that's all you need. That's what I expect from a show. Alright, thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, boy!
Hit that fucking bell!
Hit that like button, smash that like button, boy!
Let's get this over 10,000 likes, son!
Richard Dean Anderson.